Hey everyone, happy Thursday! I typically don't say the day of the week in my videos, but this isn't a Mortgage Tip Tuesday. I am going to actually add something from my Mortgage Tip Tuesday video that went into the question of, does my spouse affect my application? So now I'm going to take it one step further because I've been getting questions about this and figured, why not? Another video in the week? Of course, I'd love to do a video. So it's your girl, hashtag JLoan. And I am coming at you with a Thursday video. And this is going to be, how does divorce affect my application? Or what if I am legally or separated? I don't know if it's called legally separated. I'm going to talk about those real quick because this is equally as important. Most times when you're married, you do things together. You have joint debt, whether that's an auto, most of the time it's a mortgage, credit cards, anything. And what happens is when you go through a divorce, the judge may finalize that divorce and say, okay, well, you or your spouse get to keep the house and this car goes here, and they start separating that debt. Well, if you have this debt joint, the divorce decree does not supersede the fact that you applied for joint credit. And what this means is, yes, if you are getting a divorce and your spouse gets the house or the car, can we exclude that house or that car from your debt to income? And the answer is yes, as long as the divorce decree states that you are no longer legally responsible for that payment. But what it does not do is it does not remove that debt from your credit report. So sometimes when you divorce, it might not be pretty. And so someone gets mad and they don't make the payments. And unfortunately, yes, the divorce decree said you were no longer responsible for that debt. But if you applied for it jointly, unless you refinance, on paper, you are financially still responsible for that payment, whether it's a house or a car. So if they're late, if they're behind, that gets reported on you, and there is no way to get that taken off. So I always advise, if you're going to separate, you need to make sure that someone refinances. But sometimes marriages end peacefully. But what happens is you go from a two-person income to now you go to a one-person income. And maybe that person rightfully just could not afford it, or hit a bump in the road with career or coronavirus or whatever it may be, that they're not making the same income and they can't make the payment. That still affects you. It affects your credit. And a lot of people don't understand, even if we can exclude the debt, we can't change the fact that there's lates or collections that happen that now changes your credit score from a qualifying credit score to now a not qualifying credit score. So you want to make sure that if you're going through a divorce, I say refinance is huge. I don't know if there's a way to put it in there. Obviously, to refinance, you have to qualify for that debt. And you know your spouse, and you know if they're getting the home and they can't refinance this house, maybe it's best that we talk about selling the home and purchasing another one. And I know that sounds easier said than done, because if children are involved, you don't want to displace them. The divorce is hard enough. So I'm not stating that. I'm only talking from a credit perspective and how it can affect you financially and hurt your credit score. That's one aspect. Now, I am in a community property state, and I spoke about this in being a community property state. Well, the thing about being in a community property state is if you're married, your spouse owns 50% of the property. So whether they're on or off the loan, they sign on the title. So a lot of times, even if you're separated, and you try to, like most people separate before they get a divorce, or some people separate, hopefully they'll get back together. But I'm speaking on the aspect of separating and headed for divorce. And they say, well, we're already separated. I'm living in an apartment. I might as well just go ahead and get me a house because rent is extremely expensive, especially if you want to live in a nice area. And in a nice apartment, it's expensive. You could buy a house for the amount that rent is. But okay, enough about that. So you're legally separated. But what happens is if you go to close on a home, if you're not legally divorced, your current spouse signs on your new home. And I don't think anybody wants that, because if you're already headed for divorce, why would you want them to own 50% of your new property? So keep in mind, separation and divorce is two totally separate things. And if you want to buy a home and you don't want your soon to be ex to sign on the new home, you're going to want to make sure that your divorce is finalized before closing on your new home. Not to mention, full divorce decrees will be needed in your file to make sure if there's any child support, alimony, separation of debts. That's something that lenders require the whole pages of that decree. And it is the biggest thing that clients give me hesitation to give as to why. It's required in the past. Any divorces, if you've had 3 or 4, and they're all in the last 7 years, we require every single page of every single divorce decree. It's a requirement. I don't ask for anything for my personal gain. I get nothing from reading your divorce decrees. I go straight to the pages that tell me where the debts go, who owes what, if there's support, where does it go. We put it in an application and we're done with that documentation. So I'm going to sign off. Happy Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Weather is fantastic here today. I think this is our first day, going to reach 85 degrees. I'm a Miami girl. Check out the nails. I'm all springy, ready to go. So because I'm a Miami girl, I don't like the cold. I'm ready for some heat, some sunshine, to put on some sandals. And I guess I got to get my toes painted because I got my nails done, but I didn't get my toes. But anyways, it's your girl, hashtag JLoan. I'm signing off. As always, it's my pleasure to bring you information, educational information to help you when you are getting ready to purchase or refinance your first or your next home. Choose JLoan for your home loan. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.